Audiobooks presents The Strangest Secret in the World by Earl Nightingale, a powerful message that continues to inspire millions of people around the world. This isn't just another self-help book. It's a profound, universal truth that Earl Nightingale revealed in a captivating speech. The secret is surprisingly simple, yet few people actually apply it. We become what we think. Through this powerful audio experience, you'll discover why having a clear goal is the key to success and how your thoughts shape your reality. It's not just about positive thinking, but the science of deliberate action and mental discipline. Listen and learn the proven method that can help you achieve your goals and live a purposeful life. It's a timeless message that has impacted generations and will change the way you see yourself and the world. Let's get started. I want to talk to you about the strangest secret in the world. Some years ago, the Nobel Prize winner Dr. Albert Schweitzer was being interviewed in London, and a reporter asked him, "Doctor, what's wrong with people today?" After a brief silence, the doctor replied, "People simply don't think. It's about this that I want to talk with you. We live today in a golden age. This is an era that humanity has looked forward to, dreamed of, and worked toward for thousands of years. But since it's here, we don't value it enough. We are fortunate to live in countries rich with abundant opportunities for everyone. But do you know what happens? Let's take 100 men who start even at the age of 25. Do you have any idea what will happen to those men by the time they're 65? These 100 men, starting at 25, believe they're going to be successful. If you ask any one of them if they want to succeed, they'll say yes. You'll notice their zest for life and a certain sparkle in their eyes. Life seems like a pretty exciting adventure to them. But by the time they reach 65, 1 will be rich, 4 will be financially independent, 5 will still be working, and 54 will be broke. Now, think about that for a moment. Out of 100, only 5 make the grade. Why do so many fail? What has happened to the spark they had at 25? What became of their dreams, their hopes, their plans? Why is there such a vast disparity between what these men intended to do and what they actually accomplish? When we say about 5% achieve success, we need to define success. Here's the best definition I've ever found. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. If a man is working toward a predetermined goal and knows where he's going, that man is a success. If he's not doing that, he's a failure. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. The distinguished psychiatrist Rollo May wrote a wonderful book called Man's Search for Himself. In it, he says, "In our society, the opposite of courage is not cowardice, it's conformity. There's the trouble today, conformity. Many people act like everyone else without knowing where they're going. In the United States, there are over 18 million people aged 65 and older, and most of them are broke, dependent on someone else for their basic needs. We learn to read by the time we're 7. We learn to make a living by 25, and usually by then we're not only supporting ourselves but a family too. Yet, by 65, we haven't learned how to become financially independent. Why? Because we conform. The trouble is, we conform to the wrong group, the 95 who don't succeed. Why do people conform? Well, they don't really know. They believe their lives are shaped by circumstances, by things that happen to them due to external forces. They're shaped by external circumstances. Once a survey was conducted among many workers asking, "Why do you work? Why do you get up in the morning?" 19 out of 20 had no idea. If you ask them, they'll say, "Well, everyone goes to work in the morning. And that's why they do it, because everyone else does." Now, let's return to our definition of success. Who succeeds? The only person who succeeds is the one progressively realizing a worthy ideal. It's the person who decides what they want in life and starts working toward that goal. Successful is the school teacher who teaches because that's what they wanted to do. Successful is the woman who is a wife and mother because that's what she wanted to be and does it well. Successful is the man running the corner gas station because that was his dream, what he wanted to do. Successful is the man who wants to become a top-notch salesman and grow with his organization. Successful is anyone deliberately doing work because that's what they intentionally decided to do. But only 1 out of 20 does that. That's why there's really no competition today unless we make it for ourselves. Instead of competing, all we have to do is create. For 20 years I've searched for the key that determines what will happen to a human being. Is there a key that leads to a promising future and can be replicated by others? Is there a key that guarantees a person's success if they know how to use it? Yes, there is a key. Have you ever wondered why so many men work so hard and honestly without achieving anything in particular? And why others don't seem to work hard yet seem to have everything? They seem to have the magic touch. You've heard people say about someone, everything he touches turns to gold. Have you ever noticed that a successful man tends to stay successful? On the other hand, have you noticed how a man who fails tends to keep failing? Well, it's all because of goals. Some of us have goals. Others don't. People with goals succeed because they know where they're going. It's that simple. Think of a ship leaving a harbor with its voyage fully planned. The captain and crew know exactly where they're going and how long it will take. The ship has a definite goal and will surely reach its destination. Now, take another ship, just like the first, but this one has no crew, no captain at the helm, no goal, no destination. We just start the engines and let it go. I think you'll agree that if it leaves the harbor, it'll either sink or end up on some deserted beach. It can't go anywhere because it has no destination or guidance. It's the same with a human being. Take the example of a salesman. There's no one in the world with a more promising future than a good salesman. Selling is a well-paid profession if we're good at it and know where we're going. Every company needs top-notch salesmen, and they reward those people well. The sky's the limit for them. But how many can you find? Someone once said that the human race is predetermined, not to prevent the strong from winning, but to prevent the weak from losing. The economy in many countries can be compared to a convoy in wartime. The whole economy slows down to protect its weakest link, just as the convoy had to go at the speed that allowed its slowest ship to stay in formation. That's why it's so easy to make a living today. It doesn't take any particular talent to earn a living and support a family. So we have a secure base if that's what a person is looking for. But we must decide how far we want to rise above that base. Now, let's get back to the strangest secret in the world. The story I wanted to tell you. Why do men with goals succeed in life and men without them fail? Let me tell you something that, if you really understand it, will change your life immediately. If you grasp what I'm about to say from this moment, your life will never be the same. Suddenly, you'll find good luck seems to be on your side. The things you want appear as you expected. From now on, you won't have the problems, worries, or anxiety you may have experienced before. Doubt and fear will be things of the past. Here's the key to success and failure. We become what we think about. Let me say it again. We become what we think about. Throughout history, the great sages, philosophers, and prophets have disagreed on many things. But on this point, they unanimously agree. The great Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius said, "A man's life is what his thoughts make of it." Disraeli said, "Everything comes if a man will only wait." After long meditation, I have come to the conviction that a human being with a settled purpose must accomplish it, and nothing can resist a will that would stake even existence itself to achieve it. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "A man is what he thinks about all day long." William James said, "The greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind." He also said, "We need only act as if the thing in question were real, and it will grow into such connection with our life that it will infallibly become real. It will become so knit with habit and emotion that our interests will characterize belief." He added, "If you only care enough for a result, you will most certainly attain it. If you want to be rich, you will be rich. If you want to learn, you will learn. If you want to be good, you will be good. You only have to truly desire these things and not desire 100 other incompatible things with equal strength." In the Bible, in Mark 9-23, we read, "All things are possible to him who believes." Dr. Norman Vincent Peale put it this way, "This is one of the greatest laws in the universe. I wish I had discovered it as a young man. I realized it much later in life, and I found it to be the greatest discovery, outside of my relationship with God." He went on to say, "The great law, briefly and simply stated, is, if you think in negative terms, you will get negative results. If you think in positive terms, you will achieve positive results. This is the basis of an astonishing law of prosperity and success. In 3 words, believe and succeed." William Shakespeare said, "Our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt." George Bernard Shaw said, "People always blame circumstances for what they are. But I don't believe in circumstances. The people who succeed are those who get up and look for the circumstances they want, and if they can't find them, they make them." Well, it's pretty simple, isn't it? And every person who has discovered this, for a while, believes they're the first to figure it out. We become what we think about. It stands to reason that a person thinking about a concrete and worthwhile goal will reach it because that's what they're thinking about. And we become what we think about. Conversely, the man with no goals, who doesn't know where he's going, whose thoughts are of confusion, anxiety, fear, and worry, becomes what he thinks about. His life becomes one of frustration, fear, anxiety, and worry. But how does this work? Why do we become what we think about? Let me tell you how it works, as far as we know. To do this, I want to talk about a situation that parallels the human mind. Suppose a farmer has some land, very fertile land. The land gives the farmer a choice. He can plant whatever he wants. The land doesn't care. It's up to the farmer to make the decision. We're comparing the human mind to the land because the mind, like the land, doesn't care what you plant in it. It will return what you plant. Let's say the farmer has 2 seeds in his hand. One a seed of corn, the other nightshade, a deadly poison. He digs 2 small holes in the earth and plants both seeds. One corn, one nightshade. He covers the holes, waters them, and tends to the land. What will happen? Invariably, the land will return what was planted. As it's written in the Bible, "As you sow, so shall you reap." Remember, the land doesn't care. It will return poison as abundantly as it returns corn. So, up come the 2 plants, one corn, one nightshade. The human mind is far more fertile, far more incredible and mysterious than the land, but it works the same way. It doesn't care what we plant, success or failure, a worthwhile goal or confusion, misunderstanding, fear, anxiety, but what we plant, it will return to us. The human mind is the last great unexplored continent on Earth. It contains riches beyond our wildest dreams. It will return anything we want to plant. You might say, if that's true, why don't people use their minds more? Well, I think we found an answer to that too. Our mind comes as standard equipment at birth. It's free, And we place little value on things that are free. We value things we pay money for more. Paradoxically, everything truly worthwhile in life comes to us free. Our minds, our souls, our bodies, our hopes, our dreams, our ambitions, our intelligence, our love for family, children, friends, and country. All these priceless possessions are free. In contrast, things that cost money are cheap. They can be replaced at any time. A good man can fall into complete ruin and make another fortune. He can do it several times. Even if our house burns down, we can rebuild it. But the things we got for free, we can never replace. We don't use the mind because we take it for granted. Familiarity breeds contempt. The mind can do any kind of work we assign to it, but generally we use it for small tasks instead of the big, important ones. Universities have shown that most of us operate at 10% or less of our capacities. So, decide now. What do you want? Plant a goal in your mind. It's the most important decision you can make in your entire life. Do you want to be an outstanding salesman? Do you want better performance in a particular trade? Do you want to climb the ranks in your company or your community? Do you want to be rich? All you have to do is plant that seed in your mind, care for it, work steadily toward your goal, and it will become a reality. Not only will it, there's no way it cannot. It's a law, like Newton's law of gravity. If you climb a building and jump, you will always fall, never rise. And it's the same with all other laws of nature. They always work. They're inflexible. Think about your goal in a relaxed, positive way. Picture yourself having already achieved this goal. See yourself doing the things you'll do when you've reached your goal. Our era has been called the era of phenobarbital, the era of ulcers, nervous breakdowns, and tranquilizers. At a time when medical research has raised us to a new level of good health and longevity, many of us worry ourselves into premature death, trying to cope with things in our own way without learning a few great laws that will take care of everything for us. We bring these things upon ourselves through our habitual way of thinking. Each of us is the sum of our own thoughts and is where we are because that's truly where we want to be, whether we're conscious of it or not. Each of us must live off the fruit of our thoughts in the future, because what you think today and tomorrow will shape your life and determine your future. I remember once driving through eastern Arizona. I saw one of those giant earth-moving machines roaring along the road at about 35 miles an hour, carrying what seemed like 30 tons of dirt, an incredible, tremendous machine. There was a little man perched on top with the steering wheel in his hands, guiding it. As I passed by, I was struck by the similarity of that machine to the human mind. Just suppose you're sitting at the controls of such a vast source of power. Are you going to fold your arms and let it run into a ditch? Or are you going to keep both hands firmly on the wheel and direct this power toward a specific, worthwhile purpose? It's up to you. You're the driver. You see, the law that gives us success is a double-edged sword. We must control our thinking. The same law that can lead a man to a life of success, wealth, happiness, and all the things he ever dreamed of for himself and his family is the same law that can lead him into the gutter. It all depends on how he uses it, for good or for ill. This is the strangest secret in the world. Why do I say it's strange, and why do I call it a secret? Actually, it's not a secret at all. This law was set forth by some of the earliest sages and appears time and again throughout the Bible. But very few people have learned it or understand it. That's why it's strange, and for some equally strange reason, it remains virtually a secret. I believe you could walk down the main street of your city and ask person after person what the secret of success is, and in a month, you probably wouldn't find one person who could tell you. This information is tremendously valuable to us if we truly understand and apply it. It's valuable not only for our own lives, but also for the lives of those around us. our families, employees, associates, and friends. Life should be an exciting adventure. It should never be dull. A man should live fully, be alive. He should be thrilled to get up in the morning. He should be doing work he loves to do because he does it well. I once heard Grove Patterson, the editor of the Toledo Daily Blade, give a speech. At its conclusion, he said something I've never forgotten. My years in the newspaper business have convinced me of several things, among them that people are basically good, and that we came from somewhere and are going somewhere. So, we must make our time here an exciting adventure. The architect of the universe didn't build a stairway leading nowhere. The greatest teacher of all, the carpenter from Galilee, gave us the secret time and again, as you believe, so shall it be done unto you. I've explained the strangest secret in the world and how it works. Now, I'd like to explain how you can prove its enormous benefits in your own life through a practical test. I want you to take a 30-day test. It won't be easy, but if you try it, it will completely change your life for the better. In the 17th century, Isaac Newton gave us the natural laws of physics, which apply as much to human beings as to the motion of bodies in the universe. One of these laws is that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. In simple terms, as it applies to you and me, it means we cannot get something for nothing. The results of your 30-day experiment will be directly proportional to your effort. To become a doctor, you must spend long years in difficult study. Remember that each of us succeeds in life to the extent of our ability to sell. Selling our ideas to our families, selling education in schools, selling our children on the advantages of living a good and honest life, selling our associates and employees on the importance of being exceptional people, and, of course, the profession of selling itself. But to sell our way of life successfully, we must be willing to pay the price. What is that price? Well, it's many things. First, it's understanding both emotionally and intellectually that we become what we think about, that we must control our thoughts if we want to control our lives. It's understanding fully that, as you sow, so shall you reap. Second, it's cutting all fetters from the mind and letting it soar as it was designed to do. It's realizing that your limitations are self-imposed and the opportunities today are enormous. It's rising above the pettiness and prejudice of narrow minds. Third, it's using all your courage to force yourself to think positively about your own problem, to set a clearly defined goal for yourself, and to let your marvelous mind think about your goal from all possible angles. Let your imagination speculate freely on possible solutions. Refuse to believe there are circumstances strong enough to defeat you in achieving your purpose. Act promptly and decisively when your course is clear, and keep constantly aware that you're in the midst of your own acres of diamonds, as Russell Conwell points out in his book. Fourth, it's saving at least 10% of everything you earn. Fifth, it's remembering that no matter what your current job, you have enormous possibilities if you're willing to pay the price. Now, let's review the key points of the price each of us must pay to achieve the wonderful life that can be ours. 1. You become what you think about. 2. Remember the word imagination, and let your mind begin to soar. 3. Have the courage to concentrate on your goal every day. 4. Save 10% of what you earn. 5. Action. Ideas are worthless unless we act on them. Next, I'll outline the 30-day test I want you to take, keeping in mind that you have nothing to lose by doing this test, but you can gain everything you want. There are 2 things that can be said about each of us. Each of us wants something, and each of us is afraid of something. I want you to write on a card what you really want. It might be more money. Maybe you'd like to double your income or make a specific amount of money. It might be a beautiful home. It might be success at your job. It might be a particular position in life. It could be a more harmonious family. Each of us wants something. Write down on your card what it is you want. Make sure it's a single, clearly defined goal. You don't have to show it to anyone, but carry it with you so you can look at it several times a day. Think about it in a cheerful, relaxed, positive way each morning when you get up, and immediately you'll have something to work for, something to get out of bed for, something to live for. Look at it every chance you get during the day and just before going to bed at night. When you look at it, remember that you become what you think about, and since you're thinking about your goal, you'll realize it will soon be yours. In fact, it's yours the moment you write it down and begin thinking about it. Observe the abundance around you as you go about your daily activities. You have as much right to this abundance as any other living creature. It's yours for the asking. Now, we come to the difficult part. Difficult because it means forming a new habit. New habits aren't formed easily. However, once formed, they'll follow you for the rest of your life. Stop thinking about what you fear. Each time a fearful or negative thought comes into your conscious mind, replace it with a mental picture of your positive and worthwhile goal. There will come a time when you'll feel like giving up. It's easier for a human being to think negatively than positively. That's why only 5% are successful. You must begin now to place yourself in that group. For 30 days, you must take control of your mind. It will think only what you permit it to think. Every day during these 30 days, do more than your duty. Besides maintaining a positive and cheerful attitude, give of yourself more than you have before. Do this knowing that your returns in life are in direct proportion to what you give. The moment you decide on a goal to work toward, you're immediately a successful person. You'll then be in that rare and successful category of people who know where they're going. Out of every 100 people, you belong to the top 5. Don't worry too much about how you're going to achieve your goal. Leave that entirely to a power greater than yourself. All you have to do is know where you're going. The answers will come to you of their own accord and at the right time. Remember these words from the Sermon on the Mount, and remember them well. Keep them constantly before you during this month of your test. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives. It's so wonderfully simple. In fact, it's so simple that in our seemingly complicated world, it's difficult for an adult to understand that all they need is a purpose and faith. For 30 days, do your very best. If you're a salesman, do it as you've never done before. Not in a hectic way, but with the calm, cheerful assurance that time well spent will give you the abundance you deserve and desire. If you're a homemaker, dedicate your 30-day test to giving your very best, without thinking about receiving anything in return, and you'll be amazed at the difference it makes in your life. No matter what your job, do it as you've never done before for 30 days. And if you've kept your goal before you every day, you'll be amazed at this new life you've found. Dorothea Brande, the distinguished editor and writer, discovered this for herself and talks about it in her excellent book, Wake Up and Live. Her entire philosophy boils down to the words, act as if it were impossible to fail. She made her own test, with sincerity and faith, and her entire life was changed to one of overwhelming success. Now take your 30-day test. Don't start until you've made up your mind to stick with it. By being persistent, you're demonstrating faith. Persistence is simply another word for faith. If you didn't have faith, you'd never persist. If you fail in your first 30 days, by that I mean if you become overwhelmed by negative thoughts, you'll have to start over and try another 30 days. Gradually, your new habit will form, until you find yourself in that wonderful minority for whom practically nothing is impossible. And don't forget the card. It's vitally important as you begin this new way of life. On one side of the card, write your goal. whatever it is. On the other side, write the words from the Sermon on the Mount we've quoted. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you. Nothing great has ever been achieved without inspiration. During these crucial 30 days, keep your inspiration at its peak. And above all, don't worry. Worry brings fear, and fear is crippling. The only thing that can worry you during your test is trying to do it all yourself. All you have to do is hold your goal before you. Everything else will take care of itself. Remember also to stay calm and cheerful. Don't let petty things annoy you and throw you off course. Now, since taking this test is difficult, some will say, "Why should I bother?" Well, look at the alternative. No one wants to be a failure. No one really wants to be a mediocre person. No one wants a life constantly filled with fear, worry, and frustration. Remember that you reap what you sow. If you sow negative thoughts, your life will be filled with negative things. If you sow positive thoughts, your life will be cheerful, successful, and positive. Gradually, you'll tend to forget what you've heard in this recording. Listen to it often. Remind yourself frequently of what you must do to form this new habit. Gather your whole family at regular intervals and listen to what's been said here. You know, most men will tell you they want more money without understanding the law. The only people who make more money work in a mint. The rest of us must earn money. This is what causes those who keep looking for something for nothing to fail in life. The only way to earn money is by providing people with services or products that are needed and useful. We exchange our time and our product or service for other people's money. Therefore, the law is that our financial return will be directly proportional to our service. Success is not the result of making money. Making money is the result of success, and success is directly proportional to our service. Most people misunderstand this law. They believe you're successful if you make a lot of money. The truth is, you can only earn money after you're successful. It's like the story of a man who stands in front of a stove and says, "Give me heat, and then I'll add the wood." How many men and women do you know, or think there are today, who take the same attitude toward life? There are millions. We have to put in the fuel before we can get heat. Likewise, we have to be useful before we can earn money. Don't worry about the money. Serve, build, work, dream, create. Do this, and you'll find there are no limits to the prosperity and abundance that will come to you. Prosperity is based on a law of mutual exchange. Anyone who contributes to the prosperity of others will prosper themselves. Sometimes the return won't come from those you serve, but it will come to you from somewhere, because that's the law. For every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. As your 30-day test progresses, remember that your success will always be measured by the quality and quantity of the service you render, and money is a yardstick for measuring this service. No man can get rich himself unless he enriches others. There are no exceptions to the law. You can drive down any street in your city and, from your car, estimate the service being rendered by the people living on that street. Have you ever thought about this yardstick? It's interesting. Some, like ministers, priests, and other devoted people, measure their returns in the spiritual realm. But again, their returns are equal to their service. Once this law is fully understood, anyone can tell their own fortune. If you want more, you must be more useful to those from whom you receive your return. If you want less, you only have to reduce your service. This is the price you must pay for what you want. If you believe you can get rich by cheating others, you'll only end up cheating yourself. It may take some time, but as surely as you breathe, you'll reap what you've sown. Never make the mistake of thinking you can avert this law. It's impossible. The prisons and streets where the lonely walk are filled with people who tried to make new laws just for themselves. We can avoid the laws of men for a while, but there are greater laws that cannot be broken. An outstanding doctor recently pointed out 6 steps to help you achieve success. 1. Set yourself a definite goal. 2. Stop running yourself down. 3. Stop thinking of all the reasons you can't succeed, and instead think of all the reasons you can. 4. Trace your attitudes back to your childhood and try to discover where you got the idea that you couldn't succeed, if that's how you've been thinking. 5. Change the image you have of yourself by writing a description of the person you'd like to be. 6. Act the part of the successful person you've decided to become. The doctor who wrote this is the famous psychiatrist Dr. David Harold Fink. Do what the experts since the dawn of history have told you to do. Pay the price by becoming the person you want to be. It's not as hard as living unsuccessfully. Take your 30-day test, then repeat it and repeat it again. Each time, it will become more a part of you until you wonder how you could have ever lived any other way. Live this new way, and the doors of abundance will open and pour out upon you more riches than you ever dreamed existed. Money, yes, plenty of it. But what's more important, you'll have peace. You'll be in that wonderful minority living a calm, cheerful, successful life. Start today. You have nothing to lose, but you have a whole life to win. Thank you for listening to this audiobook until the end. If you enjoyed the content, we invite you to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. That way, you won't miss our future posts.